Over the last several weeks on this channel, I've been talking about writer's tricks that engage writers and help them to get started and break through that writer's block. So what do they do with all those things that they brainstormed and put into their journals? Well, they turn them into journal gems. So what are journal gems? That's what I'm going to be talking to you about in today's video. Hey there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm Kathy Harsh. I'm a writing coach and middle school writing teacher. I help you, middle school writing teachers, with teaching the proven writing tips, tricks, and strategies so that your students can improve their writing skills while saving you time and frustration. I believe we should call our students writers and give them the voice, choice, and time to develop their literacy skills. Please hit that like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like this channel, and share it out with other middle school writing teachers who also need some ideas for writing in their classroom. So what are journal gems? Journal gems are pieces of various writings we have started from mini lessons and bell ringers that student writers can later gather together and revise into a longer piece of writing. Some teachers may call these seed ideas. However, since I'm using a magical theme in my writing workshop, I decided to call these ideas journal gems. Sometimes it's good to freshen up ideas and keep students interested. I also like the idea that gems are precious and they are in raw form, which journal entries are as well. We have to cut and polish gems to make them sparkle and show their best facets, just as we have to revise and edit writing to make it sparkle and catch and keep a reader's attention. Now, to clarify, not all journal entries are considered journal gems. Some may be notes that you've given students. Some might be writing experiments, maybe even gone wrong. Some might be students trying out a technique, but nothing more than that will come of that particular entry. For example, this past week, we did some action verb work, and those aren't going to become something that students are going to use later on in their writing. So journal gems are those special entries that students want to use in future writings. Now, you might be wondering why I use journals when I have a computer lab. And if you haven't seen my previous video, I talk about that more in depth. But this school year has been bananas for me in the classroom because I've had to set up and break down 3 separate computer labs of 39 computers in the past 5 weeks, rearrange desks and tables to accommodate these changes, electrical plugs. It's been crazy. We've also had 3 or 4 days of internet downtime involved with that in addition to that. So I was able to switch to my whiteboard and teach students some cool techniques for their writing on those 3 days without missing a beat because my students keep a writing journal. Students had fun because I kept it engaging and they shared their writing with each other. I still used a timer because I just had to switch over to my phone to use as a timer. And I often use my phone as a timer in school a lot. There are going to be times when your students will need to be able to switch from computers to journals and back because real writers do that. Personally, I've experienced this computer downtime every year, at least 3 to 4 times a year. It happens. So I like to be prepared for it. And I also want students to be able to feel comfortable writing in their journals. Now, I do have a video that you can watch right here about why I use journals in the classroom when I also have computers. There's a lot more that I go into about it and how I grade them and all of that. And another thing about keeping a writing journal, it also, since writing over time, both shorter and longer pieces, and using the writing process is in every ELA standard in every state, you are also embedding these standards into student learning by using a writing journal. So what are some journal gem activities that you can do with your students? Listing helps generate a variety of ideas. That's one of my writer's tricks. I've had students list favorite activities, places, people, things. They then choose from these lists to mind map or draw something. We don't always develop these right away into longer pieces of writing. Sometimes students are collecting these gems for later. For example, I had students create a list of places, real or imaginary, as a journal entry. Then as another journal entry, I asked them to choose one of those places to create a mind map of this place. In their mind maps, they asked themselves questions like when and where this place is experienced by the narrator, what the narrator's emotional state is at the time of the experience, the things and the people the narrator saw, heard, or felt, as well as sensory details about those things they saw, heard, and felt. After After this, writers used my digital sensory word list. This is where they further mind mapped sensory details that match the emotion they were trying to express to the reader. The link to my sensory word list is in the description box below and is available in my TeachersPayTeachers Store. My writers then wrote a descriptive paragraph from the point of view of their narrator experiencing this place with that particular emotional state. I explained this provides mood and tone and a way for readers to empathize with the character. In fact, next week I'm going to be discussing how we did those descriptions. How can students mine those journal gems later on? Because of the activity I just described, my students now want to write stories about these characters and places that they've created. When students are finished with regularly assigned classwork, I give them a choice opportunities of what to do when they are done. They can use one of these journal gems to then create a piece of writing in any genre. Later in the school year, we will be writing stories, so my writers also may want to find these journal gems and refine them into longer pieces of writing. So journal gems give your writers more ideas to write about. So how do you organize writing journals to make these gems easier to find? One way you could help writers to organize their journals is to divide the writing journal into sections, like lists, mind maps, journal rights, notes. Or your writers can keep a chronological journal with all of their notes, lists, mind maps, writing sprints, etc. Each page has a title and date at the top. This is the type I use. I also give my students a table of contents, which they can fill out as they go, or they can fill it up later as they fill up their journals. Later in the school year, you can also give writers sticky notes or stickers to flag those pages that contain journal gems when you want them to put together some of these gems for a writing piece they will bring through the writing process. Now, you may be wondering if I grade my journal entries. I do, and I explain that more in depth in my other video, but I group several journal entries together and then create an assignment inside my school's Canvas learning management system. If you decide to do what like I do and check the journals in class, which I suggest you do that, don't take journals home. Please never, never, never take journals home. You'll never grade them because I did that for years, charging them back and forth. However, I have kids come over and I go through my alphabet and I go through my grade book and I just one at a time. We check through their journal, we talk for a few minutes, and then about their writing and stuff like that, how it's going, and then they go back to their seat and then the next person comes up. It's very quick, it's very easy, and it takes me a couple days to get through a class because I have such big classes. I have 40 kids in class, but it does help me a lot so I don't have to cart all of those home. Now, you may have some quarantine kids at home. And so what I do is I tell them to take pictures of those pages and upload them to our Canvas learning management system. If you'd like me to do a future video on writing conferences, please leave a comment down below and I'll get a video together for you on that. Collecting journal gems throughout the school year allows students to choose from a rich variety of ideas that they have created. Some journal gems may be suited more for poetry and some for essay writing and others for story writing or scripts. Whatever the genre may be, students will have a wonderful collection of raw material to choose from as they mine for their gems to refine and combine them into well-written pieces of writing. So please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you like this channel and share out with other middle school writing teachers who need ideas for writing. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Here's that special bonus I promised you. I want to help you transform your middle school ELA classroom into a vibrant writing workshop. In my free 5-day writing workshop challenge, you'll learn how to build the systems that will work for you all year long. Each day you set up a system. For example, on day 1, you set up your daily schedule. On day 2, you devise a digital filing system that works, and so forth. You'll also set up systems for planning your year out, classroom management, and your grading system. This 5-day challenge is absolutely free, and you can sign up down below and signing up at www.teachtowrite.com/5-day-challenge. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now, and happy writing collecting those journal gems.